Your LinkedIn thought leader ads are working great, but then when you run normal ads, they suck? You're not alone. We're fixing them on this week's episode of the LinkedIn Ads Show.
Welcome to the LinkedIn Ads Show. Here's your host, AJ Wilcox.
Hey there, LinkedIn Ads fanatics. As he said, I'm AJ Wilcox, and I'm the host of the weekly podcast, the LinkedIn Ads Show. I'm thrilled to welcome you to the show for advanced B2B marketers who are looking to evolve and master LinkedIn ads. We know that LinkedIn thought leader ads are great for getting cheap attention, but if they don't improve the performance of the rest of your ads, then it's a total waste, right? Today, I'm going to share strategies that can help you shift the high performance from your thought leader ads to your company ads efficiently.
The LinkedIn Ads Show is proudly brought to you by B2Link.com, the LinkedIn ads experts.
We are the ad agency 100% dedicated to LinkedIn ads, and we have been since 2014. You know, back before it was cool. We build a custom strategy for every account we work with. Plus, you get to work directly with me, plus my local team. You won't get a cookie cutter approach from us or deal with an offshore junior account manager. I'm a car guy, so I love this analogy. We provide Ferrari-level results for the price of a Honda. If you'd like to explore partnering with us for your LinkedIn ads, schedule your free discovery call at b2linked.com/discovery. All right, in the news. Here in the US, this is the 4th of July weekend. So for my US listeners, I hope you had a wonderful, relaxing holiday. And you definitely get bonus points for listening to a work-related podcast over a holiday. If you work closely with LinkedIn, you'll know that twice a year, they go on a 2-week shutdown for holidays. July 4th is one of those. So just be prepared. Your reps probably aren't going to be responsive to you for the next couple weeks, but support is still available if you contact the low-level support, either through the chat in Campaign Manager or through the help section sending an email ticket. All right, I got a couple of cool emails from LinkedIn here in the last few weeks. I've talked about these kinds of outreach before, but I got an email titled LinkedIn Ads Credit Available for Incorrect Costs in Manual Bidding Campaigns. So apparently April 5th through 15th, so it wasn't a very big swath of time, but during that time, there was an error where manual bids weren't honored. So during that time, you might have noticed that your costs per click were significantly higher than your bid. I had a few people reach out who were saying the same thing. We all kind of scratched our heads and went, how does this make sense? We were bidding less than that. But I love that LinkedIn reached out proactively about this and said, hey, just so you know, here are the 9 accounts that were affected by this, and you'll be getting a refund by September 30th. As a business practitioner, emails like this, proactive outreach where LinkedIn is offering a refund for a mistake they made that maybe we didn't even notice, that really helps instill a lot of trust. So LinkedIn, thank you for emails like this. I got another one that said LinkedIn notification about double counting of EU conversions. They said earlier, March 1st through 29th, some EU conversions were double counted. The data is now fixed, and they're setting up internal detection systems to catch these kinds of issues faster. Way you might have caught this, if you were running campaigns that were running both in the EU and outside, you probably would have seen a certain number of conversions. But if you were running campaigns that were just in the EU, you might see that your conversions were always an even number. 2, 4, 6, 8. And that might make me scratch my head a little bit, but it's usually not something I think to reach out to LinkedIn about. So I'm so grateful that they caught it, and I'm so grateful for that little snippet here that they've set up internal detection systems to catch this kind of thing faster in the future. Much respect from me, product team at LinkedIn. I want to give a shout out to one of our loyal listeners. This is from Heli Thuy Tien. I hope I pronounced that right. She's a paid media specialist at Shift, based in New South Wales, Australia. And Heli left us a review on Apple Podcasts. She said, must listen LinkedIn Ads podcast for marketers. Valuable and in-depth insights to ace the LinkedIn Ads platform. I highly recommend keeping yourself up to date with the episodes on AJ's channel for the latest insider tips. I keep tuning in weekly, and that really helps my strategies on LinkedIn. Truly grateful for AJ sharing and help with my questions. And gratitude hands emoji. Heli, thanks so much. I really appreciate the kind words. If this podcast helps you run your LinkedIn ads strategy better and helps save you and your clients money on the platform, it totally makes it worth it. Do you have a question, feedback for the show, or even a review like Heli just left? Message me on LinkedIn or you can email us at podcast@b2linked.com. You can attach a link to a voice recording from you, and I will happily play them here on the show. And you can let me know if you want me to keep you anonymous or share your details as well, because I want to feature you. I got a great question from one of our loyal listeners, Caressa Kook, who's the lead marketer at Octo in the Netherlands. She said, thought leader ads versus company ads. She said, hey AJ, I'm Caressa from the Netherlands. I'm a great fan of your podcast. It really helps me to improve our LinkedIn ads. Thanks to your podcast, I've started to use thought leader ads, and they're amazing on click-through rate and cost per click, etc. I'm having campaigns with click-through rates over 10% for thought leader ads and 0.5% for exactly the same ads coming from our company profile. But here's my question. As the bottom line goal with advertising is to promote the company, how do you see the balance between thought leader ads and company ads? I've started thought leader video ads and created a retargeting audience of those who viewed at least 97%. And then I target that audience with company ads. But I wonder, how do you look at this challenge? Keep up the great podcasting work. Thanks for the great question, Caressa. What she brings up is really common because LinkedIn's thought leader ads are inherently very weak. We're limited on the objectives that we get to choose. LinkedIn, please give us website visits as an objective. Please, please, please. We're ultra limited on the posts that are eligible to be sponsored, and we can't attach lead gen forms. So when you actually go to run thought leader ads, you can get incredible performance. But then how do you get that performance to translate to your company posts where you have more control and you can provide a better ad experience? So that's the gist of what we're trying to do. The good news is it's a lot easier to transfer brand equity from an individual to a brand than it is to transfer the other way around. For example, I've had countless conversations with people who know me as the LinkedIn ads guy from LinkedIn and YouTube, but then they ask me the name of my company. And if you think about it, this makes perfect sense. We as humans, we connect and associate better with people than we do with a faceless organization. We're much more likely to remember who has a specialty rather than which company has it. Now, this is kind of special. B2Linked is coming up on our 10-year anniversary. And one of the things that I've been actively working on for the last 5 or so years is to prop the brand up, B2Linked, to become more well-known in LinkedIn ads, and shifting the focus away from myself as the thought leader. And thankfully, it's much easier to do this over time than it would have been to do it the other way around. Establish B2Linked as the thought leader around LinkedIn ads, and then go try to speak publicly about how I'm authoritative on the topic because I work for B2Linked. Massive brands oftentimes get this the other way around. If you think about it, HubSpot has probably spent hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising to be known as HubSpot. And so those who work for HubSpot get an inherent boost in their personal cachet. But smaller brands or brands who haven't spent in the hundreds of millions of dollars advertising and branding their product or service, it works a little bit differently. So what we're trying to do here actually is possible, and it's not that much of an uphill battle. First of all, there are several tactics that we can use to shine the spotlight on the company using our thought leader ads. So I'm going to give you a list of tips here for how you can shine that spotlight from your thought leader ads onto your company. Number 1, mention the company from the post. Have your founder or internal thought leader, whoever it is who's creating the thought leader ad, start the post by mentioning the company. Having the founder or internal thought leader start the post by mentioning the company is a great way to build that association. Consider starting a post with something like, I'm so excited for what my team at company name have built. Or here at company name, we've put something together that I think you're going to love. As someone reads the post, and it's going to be very early on in the post, it's naturally going to push this focus from the individual's post to shining a little bit on your company. Number 2, consider a thought leader ad where you make the call to action from it to follow the company. Expressly tell people in the thought leader ad to follow this individual and follow the company. And it works especially well if you give them a good reason for it. For instance, make sure to follow company name because every Friday we publish awesome industry research. Number 3, add the company logo to the image in the thought leader ad, or if you're using video, have it be a watermark on the video. Pretty straightforward, just having the logo visible so people can associate this is the person I'm seeing and this is the brand they represent. Number 4, have a thought leader ad that specifically tells the founding story or an inspirational story about the organization and its purpose. Then it's an individual who we're going to connect with really easily. and it's going to be them telling a story, which we as humans remember really well. And then from that mention, the company gets naturally mentioned and imprinted. And you can test if this is working or not. Create a retargeting audience of anyone who's interacted with your thought leader ads and run 2 campaigns with exactly the same ad. One targeting your cold audience and another targeting only those who interacted with your thought leader ad. If your thought leader ads are doing a good job of warming up your audience, you'll have higher click-through rates from the audience that was built from interactions on your thought leader ad. If you don't see a noticeable lift, it might be that it's low budget, or you might want to go look at how you can improve the actual thought leader ad post to become more attention grabbing, because it's probably an attention issue. Although I don't think this is going to be a problem for Caressa. She's getting 10% and higher click-through rates on her thought leader ads, so no big deal there. Then what? Well, Caressa mentioned that she retargets those from her video thought leader ads that get to 97% of the video. And that is really good because those who make it all the way through the video are going to be a hot audience. But honestly, so few people make it to the end of a video ad that for most, it probably won't build an audience fast enough to be useful to you. I've seen lots of video ads, depending on length and interest level, that get somewhere between about 2 to 4% completion rate. And this is admittedly a complete generalization because the math may not actually work like this in reality, but maybe it'll help make the idea a little bit more concrete for you. Imagine that you run this video thought leader ad and you pay for 100 clicks or interactions to the post, and only 2 to 4 people from that end up in your retargeting audience because that's how many completed it. To get an audience to the minimum size to run of 300, you'd have to pay for between 7,500 to 15,000 clicks. Even though thought leader ad clicks cost less, they're oftentimes between about $1 to $2 in North America, that's still a lot of money. $15,000 to $30,000 to build a minimum sized audience. Now, in an ideal world, you'd have completion rates much higher than 3%, and not all viewers would create a chargeable click, so you'd fill your retargeting audience faster. But of course, your mileage may vary based off of your content's performance. My recommendation would be to target 50% viewers. That's generally enough of the way through the video to make a strong impression, but it's probably also enough that someone actually paid attention to the video and it wasn't just playing on their screen while they went to the break room. It's a nice happy medium in my opinion. But just because someone watched a percentage of a video on a post does not mean that they're a warm audience yet. But it does, to me, signal that they're interested in a company's subject matter. So I recommend retargeting those who watched that much of the video thought leader ad and retargeting them with helpful and interesting content from the company. Research reports, guides, ebooks, webinars, podcast episodes, these are all great content. Then I like to retarget the people who interacted with those with a bottom of the funnel offer, like a trial or a demo, because they're a lot more warm and interested at that point. Where do thought leader ads belong in the funnel then? I recommend thought leader ads for what we call the tip of the spear, the cold audience that it's their first interaction with the company. These are great as the top of funnel because they create retargeting audiences so efficiently. I do regularly use them for the middle of the funnel as well, but because they're quite limited, there's less use for them, admittedly. I have tested them at the bottom of the funnel as well, and they do well if they lead to a landing page, and the landing page click-through rate is high. This is a metric you have to calculate yourself because LinkedIn's not going to show it to you. They're going to report a click as any sort of interaction. But if you flip inside of Campaign Manager your columns to show you engagement, one of those engagements will be landing page clicks. You might see that you have a 10% click-through rate on your thought leader ads, but a whole bunch of them are doing things like liking and commenting and clicking see more to read the whole post, but very few might actually be clicking on the actual landing page that you want them to go to. All right, any tactics or strategies I've missed, please reach out. My DMs are free and open on LinkedIn, so hit me up there, or you can reach out to us at podcast@b2linked.com. Okay, if you're not a member of the LinkedIn Ads Fanatics community, what are you waiting for? For a very low monthly cost, you get access to all 4 of our courses that lead you from beginner to expert on LinkedIn. Plus, you get access to all of these top minds in LinkedIn ads. There's even an upgrade to get on weekly group calls with me, so I can give you specific advice. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. But if you're a loyal listener and you've been listening for some time, the biggest compliment you can pay me is to go and leave a review on Apple Podcasts and share your experience with the show. And of course, I'll shout you out. With any questions, suggestions, or corrections on anything we've talked about, reach out to us at podcast@b2linked.com. With that being said, I'll see you back here next week. And remember, I'm always cheering you on in all of your LinkedIn Ads initiatives.